The MLB trade deadline is rapidly approaching, and baseball insiders are linking the Padres to new players every day. Shea Langeliers from the Oakland A's is the latest one that I want to talk about. What's going on, everybody? Christian Pedersen back with another episode of Padres Digest. Thank you very much for tuning into the show. This is the stereotypical part where I do the YouTube thing of asking you to hit subscribe. If not, no worries. I will still be here to talk baseball all season long. Like I said, trade deadline is approaching. Tons of needs to be filled for the San Diego Padres. Not necessarily a ton of assets to fill them with, obviously, because we are needing to go get things. But catcher, left field / DH have been the two blaring main issues. Now, in the recent days, there's been some articles coming out in The Athletic and from Sports Illustrated that have started to dip their toes in some conversations about some catching potential trades for the San Diego Padres for the first time this year. And one of them that caught my eyes was a deal with a deal with the Oakland A's for Shea Langeliers, their catcher. Now, to set the table on this, I want to remind everybody where we are at right now. Going into the All-Star break, here is the NL West. Padres are 5.5 back of the Los Angeles Dodgers. They are a half game up on the Giants. They are very much in contention for the wild card. It's going to be Padres, Giants, and Phillies for the wild card. Diamondbacks seem to have dipped back and are really no longer like in the hunt. They could always get hot in the second half of the season, but right now the Padres, I think, have avoided the skid that if they had lost 2 out of 3 to the Phillies, we would be talking about the Padres 7 or 8 back at the break, and you're like, a move or two might be okay, but what's it really going to do us? I think 5.5 back with a historically good bullpen, pitching that is getting healthier. And you can see this is why I say hit the subscribe. We got tons of content breaking down like when's Michael King coming back and Yu Darvish and all that stuff. But Yu Darvish back, King to return, Cease no longer, hopefully a Padre within a couple of days. But again, drop comments on all of this. The vibes I'm getting are that things are going to continue to improve in the second half. So the Padres, I think, should still be buyers. Now, I don't think necessarily we should dish out LDV and Salas and like all of our prospects and chips and I'm not saying push all in on this season, but I still think the Padres can be conservative buyers. So that's where the Shea Langeliers conversation that I saw on Sports Illustrated kind of piqued my curiosity. And I say piqued my curiosity because nothing is a guaranteed, and AJ Preller plays this pretty close to the vest as always. But here's where we go. He's with the Athletics this year. This is what he's got so far this season. The 12 home runs are more interesting to me than anything else. The batting average has dipped down this year. He has hit 30 or close to 30 home runs twice so far in his career. Dude has a little bit of pop. He is not on a good team. The roster is not deep there. And I think that situationally speaking, the rising tide lifts all boats. I think if this bat winds up behind the dish for the Padres, again, you can't necessarily one-to-one translate out that like home runs are going to continue. But I think if he hits for the second half of the season, 8 home runs, those RBIs are going to go up because there's going to be guys on base with those home runs. The average is going to go up. I just like a guy that can make contact. I like a guy that can make deep contact. I like bats. And maybe that is just me being absolutely oversimplifying of baseball, but I like bats. I need bats. We don't even necessarily need a left fielder. I can be talked into let's ride or die with Sheets out there in left. And then we will internally scramble to promote and find a alternate left fielder / DH thing. Or backup first baseman / like we can figure out that last little piece internally, or just to have one weak spot. We do need a catcher though. We don't have an internal option. We need something to provide some sort of a boost. I tried to add in one of these little graphics that has the Padres stats for their catchers this year, but just kept getting that little 404 error, page not found. Like if you Google Martin Maldonado offensive stats, your computer will just shut off. You try to go to YouTube and Google Elias Diaz offensive highlights, it only shows him as a Rocky. Will not find Padres hits. It's not good. It has not been good. The issue and the question with all of this is, what do the Padres have to give up? Here's where Langeliers is at with his contract right now, and this is the tricky part about this particular trade, he is a good deal right now, but is headed into multiple years of arbitration and is a Scott Boras client. So historically speaking, Scott Boras clients don't take discounts and they don't like being moved on friendly deals. They like to be big-time guys who figure out their value on free agent markets and maximize their value. And you can say that maybe like Blake Snell, he waited too long and it didn't pan out for him. And okay, but Scott Boras is not a zebra changing his stripes. Like, he's gonna want Langeliers to get well paid. So, maybe this is a price that the Padres just can't pay. Maybe it isn't. I think that the A's are enough of a dumpster fire right now. They're playing in a minor league stadium in Sacramento. They don't they're gonna move to Vegas, but I get the sense that they are more of an out of control freight train flying down a hill as opposed to a swiftly moving tech startup. Like, we got to break some things, but we got to move forward. Like, I just think that maybe, yes, the Scott Boras thing could be an issue, but I get the sense that also the A's could be interested in, this guy is going to cost us an arm and a leg. We want to move him in exchange for something that we can pay minimal amounts for until maybe the Vegas thing turns the A's into a big-time, big-market squad. But right now, we have a window where the A's are not good and they are not paying much for their players. So I do think that despite some of the concerns that I read in that Sports Illustrated article about the contract being in an unfavorable place for teams to come trade, that there could still be a deal to get done. And maybe some of this is a 3-4 team deal. That is pretty hard for me to conceptually bring to you in something that is not like an hour long with nice little graphics of these guys and the others. But just saying that for right now, this is another player that the Padres have been linked to by a baseball insider in terms of AJ Preller is aggressively going into the trade deadline at the All-Star break, and this is a player that could fix our catching woes on the offensive end, and I think is in that perfect crosshairs of sending guys to the AL West does not do us any harm. We're not going to have to play against them until we get to the World Series. The A's aren't going to make the World Series. This guy is not necessarily young, but it all checks the boxes that this could be a really good deal for the San Diego Padres. Let me know, though, what you think. Do we need catching? Do you like our catching? Do you like this option for catching? What are you willing to trade for this option? And as always, if you could hit the subscribe button, it would be much appreciated. If not, no worries. Talk to you guys next time.